Good morning, bitches, and how's it going? Welcome into another episode of Random Shit with Kyle. I'm your host, Kyle. How's the new year treating ya? It's been like 3 days, so hopefully you're doing good on all your New Year's goals. I know a lot of people are like, fuck that, I'm not doing goals. That's totally fine. I fully support that. I didn't do goals for a long ass time. It is officially day 1 of my diet. I have had 1 meal and I'm hungry. That's how it's going. I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. Guys, protein bars fucking suck though. Protein bars are not good. If you have any good protein bar recommendations, let me know because I fucking hate them. But I need more protein in my life because I also don't like to eat meat, really. Like, I'm not a huge fan. So, I ate eggs and bacon. I'm not going for, like, world's most healthy. I am going for healthier than I have been. So, nothing crazy. Mostly eating at home and not eating out, which is also really fucking rude because it's way easier to eat out, y'all. It's way easier. So, on today's episode of the pod, we are going to be chitting and chatting about things that turn 25 because it's been a fucking quarter of a century in this time. In this century, no, in this, it's not, I don't know what it's called. Wow, that, anyways, moving on. You know what I'm talking about. So 25 years, 2000. No, what the people that are 25 and younger will never understand how big a deal it was on New Year's Eve 1999 into 2000. We all thought we were going to die. Anthrax was a big thing at the time. I thought for sure somebody was going to send it to me in the mail. I was fucking 10 years old. How does that even work? Anyways, I was sure anthrax was coming through the mail. I don't even know what it is. So, I mean, I assume it's a powder. Honest to God, I'm not entirely sure. So, there's that. And I remember that all our computers were gonna all of a sudden not work. They were not gonna understand how to turn 19 and 99 into 2000. Like, the date was gonna explode it or something. It was wild. So, and I remember having the most amount of fireworks I think I've ever seen in my entire life go off that night. So it was wild. I will say, I remember that New Year's Eve more than any other New Year's Eve in my entire life. I spent it at, so we had, my mom was the music director and the youth director at the time at the church that we were going to. And, these people, they were the richest people in the congregation, and they lived in a motherfucking mansion, and they still do to this day. The husband, the dad, the whatever, his name was Rick, and he was a doctor. So he made bank, and so they invited like the whole church over for New Year's Eve, and so like 100 of us gathered and hung out, and I remember we played like a ton of like lock-in kind of games, like sardines or whatever, throughout this whole mansion. And then we all gathered outside to like count down, and they had the world's biggest fireworks show in their backyard. And then I think the party went until like 3 a.m. and it was just like, we grew up Baptist, so like people were drinking, but they were drinking like behind closed doors. They would like run into the other room to like take a swig of their whatever, and it was like appropriate to have champagne at midnight or something. But that was the Baptist life in the late 90s, early 2000s. So anyways, I was really worried that we were gonna blow up at midnight, and then we all kind of held our breath for like 5 minutes, and we were all fine, and then we moved on. Like, we were never worried to begin with. So there's that. Anyways, so these are some things that came out in 2000. The first scary movie came out in 2000. I think there's like 15 of them by now. I honestly don't know. I've never seen one. I don't really like scary movies, and actually I think that that's changed in recent times. I actually have like read a few scary books, and they're not that scary, so I've also then decided to watch some scary movies, and turns out that they're actually not that scary. I guess when you get old, life is scary enough, and then you're like, fuck it, whatever's on TV is not that scary anymore. So I do really want to see the new scary movie. Fuck, what's it called? It's like a throwback to the old one, and Bill Skarsgård is in it, and why can't I remember the name? Damn. Anyways, it'll come to me at some point in this podcast. So I'm going to go to the theater, and I'm going to watch that movie, and I'm going to take Claire with me. And she is not a scary movie person at all. So we're going to see how that goes. But one of the reasons that I want to go to this scary movie is because Bill Skarsgård, who is playing the like evil dude in this, what the fuck? Oh, Nosferatu is what it's called. Nosferatu? One of those. It's one of those. It's close to that. Anyways, that's what it is. And it's like an old movie that they are updating, right? Okay, so but he worked with an opera singer for 4 months or something like that to train his voice to lower by like an octave, so that he could make this really intense voice. And it is haunting, and it's really cool. So I'm going to go and see, and I mean, I want to see it, but the voice is crazy. So I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to see it. I'm terrified that it'll show up in my nightmares. So we'll see. But Nosferatu, I think is what it's called. So I'll update you. We're going to see that probably this weekend. So we'll see. So anyways, the first quote unquote scary movie came out in 2000. And I don't know anything other than the scary movie, like long white face from that. So I honestly thought that those were definitely from the 90s, so I was kind of surprised to learn that came out in 2000, but whatever. One thing that I think is interesting that came out in 2000 is Survivor and Big Brother, and both of those TV shows are still actively going on. I know for sure that Survivor is on like season 47 or 48, something like that. And they have plans for season 50. So like I know that they are doing fine. And Big Brother is still on, but I don't watch that show, so I don't know how many seasons. I just see the weird commercials for that. So sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. Okay, another thing that's really fucking hilarious, like, that turns 25 in 2025 is eHarmony. So, honestly, I haven't heard about eHarmony in a long time. I assume it's still out there. I assume it's still as craptastic as it once was. Now, I do have a story about eHarmony. I used eHarmony once upon a blue moon. And I found the girlfriend that I had before Claire on eHarmony. Now, we were like a 97% match. We went on our first date, and I got there and I was shocked because she did not look like she did in her profile picture. Her profile picture was apparently like 45 pounds ago and like 3 years earlier. So anyways, and I'm a dumbass and decided that's okay. We'll go on another date. Like, and I started like the relationship like not long after that. So then, fun fact, a couple months into the relationship, I was like, hey, I'm actually going to move to Louisiana. So this was when I was in Nebraska, right? And I was like, actually, I'm going to move to Louisiana. And so I thought for sure, like, we're good. That's the end of the relationship, right? And she was like, oh, cool, like, I'll come with you. And my dumbass did not say no. My dumbass thought maybe it was divine intervention, that, like, we're supposed to be together. So why not give it a shot? So she moved down to Louisiana with me. Yeah, that's how that went. So 3 years later, I finally got out of that relationship. Also, fun fact is Claire knows that person, and they hated each other. Absolutely hated each other. My girlfriend's name was Jessie, and Jessie and Claire hated each other. But the final point to the relationship was when Jessie told me that she'd really like me to stop being friends with Claire. And I was like, absolutely not. That's my best friend, and I will not be stopping being friends with her. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So anyways, and then a few months later, Claire and I started dating. So while I still lived in the same apartment as her, we were in separate bedrooms, obviously. But yeah, it was weird. So then, like, a couple weeks later, I moved out, still into the same apartment complex, but into a different unit. Yeah, you know, my 20s weren't necessarily full of good decisions. So anyways, there's that. So don't go on eHarmony. If you're a 97% match, it really isn't. That's not good. That's somebody's lying, and it wasn't me. So there's that. Okay, another thing that turns 25 in 2025, that's really fun and hard to say at the same time, is The Sims. The Sims turns 25 this year. I did not play The Sims until I got to college. And then when I got to college and I was in those boring ass, like, classes full of 352 people, I decided to start playing The Sims. That shit is so fun. It's so addicting. And I definitely failed one of the classes because of The Sims. So, yeah, I failed, what was it, the first semester of music history or something like that. Yeah, so, you know, maybe don't play The Sims while you're in in class. I mean, that'd be cute, right? So, okay, moving on. Sorry, we're also live on TikTok, which is exciting. I think this whole thing is working out, so we'll see. This is hilarious to me too. The first camera phone came out in 2000. Like, that's wild to think of. That camera phones. I mean, we have lived with camera phones for so long that, like, it's insane to think that we didn't ever have them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember, God, my phone was like a fucking brick. Like, do you remember the Nokia phones that you could literally, like, run over and no big deal? It was fine. You just picked it up and, like, moved on with your life. I think that they're still, like, out there and alive today. So anyways, phones are wild. I remember having a flip phone. I don't know that I had a camera on it, but that was really entertaining to flip that thing up and down. And I wish phones still did that. That would, to just be in a fucking argument and to slam the phone down, and to flip it. Oh, it was so satisfying. If you've never experienced that, if you are too young to have experienced the fight on a flip phone and you to just be like, fuck you, and, like, flip it closed. Oh, it was magical. I loved that. That was great. Another thing that, I lost my train of thought. I was going to talk about phones more, and then I forgot. Oh, I used to have a stupid phone that, wasn't a flip phone, and it used to call, like, random numbers all the time, because that was back before you could, like, lock it or whatever. And so, like, the freaking phone bill was like $8 billion because I used to just like throw my phone in my pocket or in my backpack because I was like in middle school. And so this shit would just like be dialing China. I don't know, like random ass numbers. So anyways, our phone bill was always wild. Okay, the fourth Harry Potter book turns 25, lol. It came out in 2000. And fun fact about the fourth Harry Potter book is it came out like, they'd always came out in like July or something. Like we were always like standing out at midnight trying to get the book from the bookstore. Then shortly after that, I went to Israel in 2001. And they had the book in the Israeli airport in Hebrew. And so I have the book in Hebrew, and it opens backwards and it reads back to front is what it feels like. And it's in here and it looks really cool, and it's still the same cover and whatever. And I know that what's her bucket that writes J.K. Rowling is the world's trashiest person alive and hates my very existence, but the characters in the movie do not, and they have been very supportive of all of that. So I fully support your love of Harry Potter as long as you do not love J.K. Rowling. But whatever. Anyways, moving on. Songs. There's a couple of songs that turned 25 this year. One of them is Bye 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 by NSYNC, right? Bye, 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 bye. I'm doing I don't know why I'm doing the like thing in my head. Anyways, so that turns 25, which that totally makes sense. I thought in my brain like that either came out in 99 or in 2000. But Who Let the Dogs Out came out in 2000. Now, I for sure thought that song was a little bit older than that because I feel like I've been saying Who Let the Dogs Out for like my entire life. I still definitely say that sometimes. And then I usually answer it with me because I have 3 Great Danes and they're outside. So like I let the dogs out. That's me. Anyways, that was a stupid joke. You're welcome. Hashtag 2025. I don't know. Anyways, the last quote unquote fun fact I have is the International Space Station started having people live in it in 2000. So Ronald Reagan in like 1984 was the president that like said, let's build an international space station, and they put it up there and whatever, but it didn't have people living in it until 2000. And now there's like people stuck in it. Like the 2 people that have been in there they were supposed to be there for like a couple of weeks, and they've been there like 6 months or something, and they're gonna have to be there for even longer. So they're stuck there. My question is, how the fuck do they have food if they were only gonna be there for a couple of weeks? How did they can't like grow things, so how are they still having food? There's been a couple of attempts to get them out of there, and they like can't. And then all of a sudden the lady that's up there like looks like she's 75. She's like dwindling away. Is it because they don't have food? Or is it because like the no gravity thing? Like what's happening? I don't know. Anyways, so there's that. I just think that it's so crazy to think that like we've been in this century for 25 years already. It's wild. It's wild. Also to think that like I now have lived, I just now thought of this, that I've lived most of my life in the 2000s. I still feel very, like, attached to the 90s. I don't know. 90s nostalgia. Oh, I also looked up some toys that came out in the early 2000s. So we had, like, the Tamagotchis, which now they're coming back out. I fucking killed that thing constantly. I don't know, like... so it's this little, in case you don't know what a Tamagotchi is, it's this little computer thingy that you, like, clipped onto your backpack, and it was supposed to be cute and whatever. But it's this needy little bitch that's inside of it that wants fed every 5 seconds, or to, like, clean up its poop, or, like, whatever. And it was too much. It was too much. It was such a needy bitch. And I died all the time. So, I don't know, whatever. I felt like I was the world's worst parent, but I was also like 7 or something. So, yeah, so that came out. Polly Pocket came out around then. I definitely had a Polly Pocket. I thought it was adorable because it was so tiny. So that was really fun. But I didn't ever like actually play with it. I just like looked at it. It was like, oh, it's tiny and cute. And then I moved on with my life. So I don't know. Yeah, anyways, it's wild to think like how old some things are and how like my nephews have never like seen some things. Like they don't know what some of the things that I grew up with are. I remember one of our trips to Branson was in 2016, right after my dad passed away. And my nephew, who was, gosh, I don't know, he's 17 now. So, and that was, how many years ago was 2016? God, almost 10, so 9 years ago. Damn, that's crazy to think of. So yeah, like 9 years ago, we get into the hotel, anyway, whatever, long story. We get into the hotel, and he's just like, like looking at the corner like, what the hell is that over there? And my sister's like, what are you doing? And he's like, what is that thing on the table? My sister was like, what? Like, it's a phone on the end table. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, that's not a phone. And she was like, yes, it is. It was like a regular like phone you pick up, right? In a hotel. Like, I don't know. And he's like, I've never seen a phone that looks like that. He was so enthralled with it. He called my room because we were in different rooms. We were in rooms that like connected, and he called and I answered the phone like, hello? And he was like, hey, Uncle Kyle, it's a phone and it works. I was like, what are you talking about? It was so weird to just realize that like he had never seen a phone that like, also people like, when you hold up the phone to your ear, like when you're pretending to hold the phone up to your ear, I always do like my pinky out and my thumb out, right? And you put it to your ear and it's like a phone, right? That is not how kids today do the phone. If you ask them to like put a phone up to their ear, they just like hold up a flat hand and like put it to their ear. That is so crazy to me. They're just like putting their palm to their face. So anyways, things are wild. I feel so fucking old. I don't know any of the slang. I don't know how people hold phones anymore. Yeah, so anyways, that is 2025. And we'll see what else turns 25 in 2025. I'm older than that. So anyways, I hope y'all have a great day. Morning, noon, night, whatever. I gotta get off of here before I cough myself to death. So, all right, love y'all bitches. Bye.